Hi everybody, Adam here. Welcome back to our Lego room. In today's video, we're going to be running trains. Try to run as many different trains as we can around the layout. We'll talk a bit about some of the stuff we're working on, but mostly going to be about running as many different trains around the layout as we can. Should be a lot of fun. So let's dive in and get started. So we're going to start off with running a couple of trains around the tabletop mainline track here. We've got our Horizon Express, which will be running on the interior main line, and then we've got one of our powered up Lego trains that will run on the outer main line. We'll give that a lap around just to make sure all the switches are set correctly and that everything is doing what we expect. That looks pretty good. Nice. Now let's see if... And the Horizon Express is going as well. And the switches are set correctly on the T-junction, so that is always a good sign. No crashes or chaos to start the train running. This particular powered up train here, I think I'm going to pick up another copy of that. I'd like to stretch it out like I have been with the rest of our passenger trains. Having the two locomotives, 4 or 5 train cars, I think it would be nice to have that for that one. Bring it into the same league as what we're doing with the Horizon Express and some of our other passenger trains. Like to get to, obviously trains can be smaller and have only a couple of cars that they're pulling sometimes, but I would like to have the capability to have most of our trains run at a minimum of 4 or 5 cars, if we want. Always easy to go smaller, but nice when you've got the option to always have longer trains if you want. Back up here so we can get a different angle. Those trains seem to be running quite well around the layout, which is nice to see. I am hoping this week that I'll get some time to work on this corner of the layout over here. I'd like to work on getting in the new corner siding that I mentioned in one of our recent videos. Really want to try to maximize the number of trains that we can have queued up around the layout and just ready to start rolling, onto the main line whenever we want them, to be running. So I think another siding over here would be super useful, and I think wrapping it around the corner over here should give us a decent amount of length to it, so we can have a couple of longer trains over here. So the idea is that basically coming off of there and then just with the R120 and R104, have them wrap around the corner of the table here. And then we do need to work out a solution to have both of the tracks here have access to the mainline tracks, because currently only the outer one actually connects into the mainline tracks. A similar idea or issue with what we've got going on with our siding over here. We've got two sidings there, but only the interior one actually connects to the mainline track. So as much as possible, want to try to go through and update those so that, maximizing sidings and making sure that all sidings have access to the mainline track. And then, it just becomes a much easier exercise to move trains on and off of the layout. We should really turn those wind turbines on here since we're doing a longer running session. I'm going to move to that side of the layout over there and we'll turn those on and we can get a different vantage point of the layout and these trains before we switch to a couple of different locomotives and sets of train cars. Nice to see the wind turbines in action. I don't turn them on as much as I should. This is kind of a good opportunity here with the trains running around. A nice opportunity to have them in action as well. Kind of fun from over here to be able to look at the rail yard there as well. Okay, now let's try to get a couple of different trains set up and moving around the layout. I think both of those did really well. So first up, we now have the white Lego passenger train moving around on the outer mainline track. Moving pretty smoothly, and you can see with this one as an example of the length that I would like to get to with a lot of our standard Lego trains. And then in addition to that passenger train, we've got our Marvel subway car moving around as well, with Spider-Man on the front and Doc Ock riding on top. Really happy with how that train car looks and is functioning. I've got another 3 copies of that set. So looking to extend that train out a little bit and to add some other superheroes on there. I think it could be a fun, different type of train to have running around the layout and out at shows with some different superheroes and villains on them. I think I will add at least one to this particular train car sort of train here. I don't know if I'd put all 4 in one big long train. You definitely could, but I think they're almost better as like 1 or 2 car little mini trains to have running around the layout. Really happy with how that is working though. It looks great and definitely changes things up, a different sort of train car and sort of dynamic with that car, adds some different visual interest and variation to the layout and our collection in general. Definitely want to have more of those sort of streetcar, subway-esque trains in our collection. I think they're fun to see as one-offs moving around the layout, and definitely some different situations where you could run those if you expanded out the layout and you had more of a residential sort of city train track that was moving through the layout. You could definitely see running those sorts of trains there, but they work just as well out here on the main line moving around the whole layout. And now you will see we've got our Brickmania streetcar running around. Another favorite of mine in the collection. Looks great. And I also just love the, sort of the contrast. It's nice having the big long trains running around, but it is nice to sort of sprinkle in every now and then a shorter train. It is using powered up as well, and it motors. No ifs, ands, or buts. It's just moving really quickly and smoothly around the layout. Awesome to see. Still several projects on the go in terms of motorizing trains that don't have motors yet and getting some broken trains fixed up again so that they can rejoin regular service around the layout. But making pretty good progress and happy with the increasing number of trains that we have at our disposal to run here around the layout. Fun to look at things from the interior of the layout as well. Different vantage point on the layout. Still a number of areas to clean up and to continue to fill out with different projects that we're working on for the layout here, but really happy with how things are looking in general around the layout. Now, running trains, I would be remiss if I didn't run something on the Winter Village loop down here on the new lower level layout that we're building out. We've got our older Lego Christmas train. It's actually noticing, I don't know if it shows up too much on the video, the large red wheel on the locomotive actually only runs some of the time. It kind of goes between spinning and getting stuck. Might need to put an elastic on there just to help it get enough traction to always be spinning and moving there. But nice to see this train moving around down here, and can't wait as we continue to fill out the remainder of the lower level layout here. It is going to be awesome to soon be able to run trains around the entire lower level layout. Let's move to the other side of the Winter Village loop here. And I continue to be a big fan of the snowy railway ties. An awesome pickup from Trix Bricks. I think it works really well down here on the Winter Village loop. I am looking forward to getting some lighting worked through this part of the layout here. I think it will help make this part of the layout pop even more. It is a little dark considering, it's basically underneath tabletops from the tabletop layout. Doesn't bother me running trains and looking at stuff like this currently, but I think a little bit of lighting worked through the lower level will also just help make things pop and be that much more visible down here. So looking forward to working on that. And I know everybody really loves seeing the Brick Tracks North Pole Railroad in action as well. Still a number of things I need to work on to get this working the way that I want in terms of the coupling between the locomotive and the tender, but really cool to see this in action down here as well. And really looking forward to seeing that as the rest of the village starts to fill in, and as we get some additional power for the locomotive so that we're able to pull more of the train cars, because we've got a lot of awesome train cars for the North Pole Railroad. So it'll be cool to basically just get to a point where we can really run a large number of train cars in behind this particular locomotive. Only seemed fitting to get a train running through the yard for this particular session as well. Love that T-junction so much. Opens up so many interesting track running opportunities. Really excited about the fact that we've managed to get 2 of them into the lower layout as well. Now, I think we should get one more train perhaps running on the outer main line before we wrap this video up. Obviously, we're not going to run every single train in this video that we have, which is, I think, an accomplishment now. We're getting a large number that are motorized and able to be run around the layout. So, the fact that we can run a bunch and still barely scratch the surface, I think is a really good thing. We're going to try to, as I've said in the past, we're going to try to run the trains more regularly through the layout and having everything on sidings as much as possible that connect into the layout, I think makes that a lot easier. But let's get one more train running here, and then we'll probably wrap this session up. But let's see how things go. So we've got another one of our powered up Lego passenger trains running around the layout here. Really happy as well. Everything's running really smoothly around the layout, both the tabletop layout here and the Winter Village loop. Always nice to see. There's a few things I want to do around the tabletop layout to just shore up a few pieces and make sure that there's not any little bumps or blips as you move around the layout. So I got a few ideas in mind for how to make some improvements there. Hopefully in the next week or two, we'll get some time to work on those. The wind turbines look excellent there. Love the sunflowers underneath as well. Well, I think that will do it for now. Really happy to be able to run all of these different trains and put them through their paces around the tabletop layout and the Winter Village loop on the lower level layout. We ran a whole bunch of trains. I know there's still a number left that we have not run yet in this particular session. We will do another one of these in the coming days and weeks here. We'll probably do a few of them, so keep an eye out for those on the channel. And lots of cool projects ahead as we work on trains, various builds around the layout. Lots of track work on the lower layout, so lots of fun stuff ahead. If you have not subscribed to the channel, please make sure to do so that you don't miss out on any of those upcoming videos. And thank you very much for watching. We will see you again soon. Take care. Bye.